YY7 Global Youth Dialogue is a very interesting experiment in which we actually talk to a number of people from very many different countries, talking about one or two biggest problems they had seen growing up as children, as youth. Interestingly enough, despite the diversity that we see in the countries and the regions, problems seem to be quite similar. And I find that this gives to us an indicator that where the problems are so similar, the solutions themselves might not be too dissimilar themselves. So as this program grew, as we reached out across the world, we realized that even at the Asian Institute of Technology in Bangkok, we have more than 40 countries represented in our student population. So a young group, the social business youth group at AIT, My Vision, got behind a camera and they started talking to their own friends and colleagues. And here is what we have.
One social problem my country is facing right now is unemployment. There is a lot of unemployed people in my country and it's becoming a serious issue.
One of the biggest problems in my country, in Tanzania, is unemployment. And this unemployment is caused by most young men believing the government is there to solve the problem of unemployment. So another reason is because our education system were used to prepare us to be employed by the government. So as most majority finish their education, they are preparing to get employed, and that is the biggest problem.
The most pressing social issue in Nepal is unemployment. Youths are unemployed. They are learned, they have graduated from good universities, but yet they do not find any jobs.
India being a huge country and housing around 1.25 billion people currently, the issue of homeless people in a country is huge. Anywhere, any city, any place you travel in India, you will find people sleeping in the footpath. So being homeless is one of the biggest problems in India, and of course we can think of a lot of solutions to it.
The most serious social problem in my country, I think, is poor infrastructure, because people from my country do not get enough electricity and they do not get safe water or something like that.
The major problems that youths are facing in our country are unemployment and insecure life.
In my opinion, the most pressing issue in Pakistan is urban planning, implementation, some programs and policies.
One social problem in my country would be the lack of electricity. There's about 14 hours of load shedding per day in our country. Students aren't getting to study, they don't have any electrical facilities in our country.
Social problem in Thailand that I found is most of the Thai people cannot communicate in English, and for my opinion, I think there should be support from the government that students should be learning English from the primary school.
In Sri Lanka, we have the main problem is about the education, because there are a lot of people who can get high marks in the advanced levels, but many of them they are not getting the chance for the high studies.
The biggest issue in our country is that there are so many uneducated children in rural areas. So how can we stop the adults from thinking that children need to work when they are actually needing is education?
Most pressing problem in Bangladesh is corruption.
One pressing issue from my country is the growing poverty.
The problems that's happening in Thailand is the people from the rural area come to the big city to find a job, to find a work. So the solution is to offer them, to provide them a job in the rural area.
One of the social problems of my country, Nepal, is loss of youth. A lot of youth from my country are traveling to other countries for job, employment, and settling down in other countries.
I think the basic problem for Pakistan is low literacy rate and the quality of education system at primary level. And I think the other issues like child labor, law and order situations are also linked with the education system.
The most serious social problem in my country is the poor healthcare services. because for poor people, they always face they always face the difficulties to access the health services.
Important problem is we haven't good jobs and we haven't enough university facilities for the students who got higher marks.
The biggest problem in my country are unemployment, deforestation, air pollution, and lack of access to educational resources.
Many people cannot get a job opportunity, and another problem is now in Thailand is have a lot of many pollution. For example, air pollution, water pollution.
In my country, we produce a lot of oil and money, but yet we have a lot of problems still present. The youths we train, because I train undergraduates, they don't have jobs when they come out. And so that leads to a lot of social crises like robbery, violence, kidnapping, and many other problems because of this lack of jobs.
I think the most pressing issue is the divide between the poor and the rich. The divide needs to be lessened, and there needs to be social efforts from the government side as well as from other citizens so that we can reduce the gap and make more poor people come into the middle class. I want to give you a classic example from a city which is on the western coast of India, Mumbai. That was the biggest slum, Dharavi, on which Slumdog Millionaire was also made. So all of you must be used to the name Dharavi. In Dharavi, about 5 to 10 years ago, it was still a slum, and they were just basic suppliers of leather. Now they have got the information and they have got empowered. It has changed over from a supplier base to a manufacturing base. So a huge change happened in Dharavi itself.
One social problem from Indonesia is corruption, but now my government tries to solve it by put organization to investigate corruption and try to find people who had done corruption, so it can be solved soon.
And I'd like to pinpoint the problem what I face in Delhi. Delhi is very unsafe for girls. So I think we really need to look into how we can develop measures or initiatives or maybe programs so that the women feel more safe.
I think the problem in my country for development of Myanmar is less qualified human capacity, human resource capacity.
The most pressing problem in Bangladesh is traffic jam. So it's not only hampering the youth generation as well as the whole country. So the young generation, they becomes more frustrated and they are no longer interested to stay in country, so they are leaving the country.
I want to talk about the transportation in Malaysia. Actually, the citizens don't have awareness to use public transportation. They prefer to have their own car.
In my opinion, the most pressing problem for youth in Pakistan is unemployment and lack of empowerment of youth.
The most pressing problem that we have in our country is unemployment and gender imbalance in education. I think gender should be balanced and the disparity among men and women should be discouraged.
So what we've seen today in this quick vignette from the Asian Institute of Technology is that if young people are empowered, if they are equipped, and if they are given the confidence to go out and take a social problem and then brainstorm a social business out of it, a lot is possible. And I'm particularly struck by the example from Mumbai, where it has actually been seen to happen. And of course, we have stories from all over the world in this conference where we have seen the change happening. So as the YY7 Global Dialogue launches itself, we are very keen to see this spread to other countries. So if you're out there, if you have people, if you have students between 18 and 35 who would like to talk to us, there is a link. Catch that link, and we'd like to hear more young people talk about their one or two biggest social problems so that we can then perhaps also launch into the dialogue of how we can convert their problems into social business solutions. Thank you for watching.